अंजू की जाय, नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्रील गुरुदेव की जाय, नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय, नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत श्रीमद् Sorry, let me start over. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitilapa Vishnu Vishnupada Shatara Shata Shmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Sorry, let me start over. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitilapa Vishnu Vishnupada Shatara Shata Shmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitilapa Vishnu Mahabhagavat Srila Gokshara Bhagavati Maharaj ki jai. Nitilapa Vishnu Vishnupada Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki jai. Nitil Vishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadash Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Srila Haridas Ṭhākura ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। Oh, and today is Nitil Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimar Srila Gaura Govinda Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna chaitanya namne gauratvishe namaha. Gurave gaurachandraya radhikaya tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tar Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yang Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Tara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinedu Stang Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskrityam Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Shrinvatang Swakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Hridantasto Yabhadrani Vidhunoti Surit Satam Nashta Prayeshvabhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Tavaivasmi na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya radhe tvam nayamam charanantikam bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay kshiptashtakama ditaranga madhe kripa maitvam sharanam prapana vrinde namaste charanaravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol, Rup Manjari Didi, Madhavi Didi, Indira Mataji. Okay, Rup Manjari Didi, that's too bad. You have to go soon, but I totally understand. Ganga Didi, Dandavat Pranams, Raj Bhuvan Yadav, and Gargraj ji and Rukmini Didi, Dandavat Pranam. So, let's see, I'm gonna go through this book, Bhagavat Pravaha. Where is it? I'm a little bit spacey right now because I had a very late night last night. Where is it? Okay. Think this one, humbling a proud servant. Okay. So this is just, I'm reading this recap until the point we read to. This is a book called Bhagavat Pravaha. It's a summary of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. As Krishna turned 7 years old, one day, he saw the Vrajvasis making elaborate arrangements for a ceremony. Krishna then asked Nanda Maharaj about the purpose of the ritual. Nanda explained, "My dear boy, this is a traditional worship called Indra Puja, performed to please the demigod Indra, who gives us rain. Rain is vital for our living and agriculture." Then Krishna replied, "Happiness, distress, and fear are just the effects of karma. Indra cannot change one's karma. The clouds pour rain everywhere, including the oceans. What has Indra got to do with this arrangement? My dear father, our specific relationship is with the forest and Govardhana hill. Therefore, I request you to forego Indra Puja and worship the Govardhana hill instead." Nanda said that they could worship Govardhan separately another time, but Krishna insisted that all the paraphernalia that had already been arranged for Indra Puja must be used for Govardhan Puja. He proposed, "Prepare various kinds of food items. Brahmins must invoke a sacrifice. Feed the cows and present offerings to Govardhan hill. After everyone has eaten to their satisfaction, circumambulate the cows, Brahmins, sacrificial fire, and Govardhan hill." Nanda Maharaj and other senior members of the cowherd community gladly accepted Krishna's sweet and logical proposal and performed Govardhan Puja as he desired. Krishna assumed the form of a mountain and accepted all the offerings. He offered obeisances to Govardhan and asked everyone else also to do so. Being the all-pervading supersoul, Krishna was aware that Indra at that time was puffed up of his kingly position and heavenly opulence. Wanting to inculcate humility in him, Krishna stopped Indra's worship while simultaneously inaugurating the most exciting tradition of Govardhan Puja for all time to come. All right, so that's where we read up to. Haribol Champakti. So now opening this up. And I started a bit late today, so maybe we won't have time, but if there is time at the ends, maybe I can read a short little something for Srila Gaura Govinda Goswami Maharaj. Okay. Shri Shuka, this is chapter 25. Shri Krishna, Lord Krishna lifts Govardhan hill. Shri Shuka Uvacha Indrastadatmana Pujam Vigyaya Vihatam Nripa Gopebhya Krishnanathebhyo Nandadibhyaschukopaha. Shukadev Goswami said, "My dear King Parikshit, When Indra understood that his sacrifice had been put aside, he became furious with Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men who were accepting Krishna as their lord. Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. This chapter describes how Lord Indra, overcome by anger, sent rain to destroy the people of Vraj. To protect Vraj, Krishna held Govardhana hill in his left hand for 7 days. Shukadeva Goswami immediately reveals the foolishness of Indra and the absurdity of his anger. Ganam samvartakam nama meghanam chantakarinam Indra prachodayat krudho vakyam chaheshamanyuta. Angry Indra sent forth the clouds of universal destruction known as Samvartak. Imagining himself the supreme controller, he spoke as follows. Commentary. This verse describes Indra's anger. Samvartak refers to the clouds used for destruction of the universe. Cha indicates that the 7 winds of destruction, such as Avaha and Pravaha, were also sent. Due to excessive pride, Indra arrogantly considered himself to be the supreme controller. Aho Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Gopanam Kananaukasam Krishna Martyam Upashritya Ye Chakrur Devahelanam. Indra said, "Just see how these cowherd men living in the forest have become so greatly intoxicated by their prosperity. They have surrendered to an ordinary human being, Krishna, and thus they have offended the gods." Indra said, "I am astonished to see the amount of wealth and bliss of these cowherd men. Being inspired by Goddess Saraswati, we can understand that Indra was really saying that the cowherd men had offended him by taking shelter of Krishna, whom Indra considered to be Martya, a mortal. Krishna is called a Martyam because he appears to give auspiciousness to the ignorant souls of the material world. Yatadridhai karma mayai kratubhir namano nibhai Vedyam anvikshikim hitva tirshanti bhavarnavam. Their taking shelter of Krishna is just like the foolish attempt of men who abandon transcendental knowledge of the self and instead try to cross over the great ocean of material existence in the false boats of fruitive ritualistic sacrifices. Wait a second. Who abandon transcendental knowledge of the self and instead try to cross over. I thought Indra would like people doing fruitive ritualistic sacrifices. Nice. Commentary. Vaishnavas desiring to cross the ocean of material existence take shelter of Krishna and reject the quest for Brahma Gyan, knowledge of Brahman. Indra said, "These cowherd men have become absorbed in a sacrifice as a means to cross the ocean of material existence. The Vrajavasis have foolishly taken shelter of Krishna in hopes he will reduce the ocean to the water contained in a calf's hoofprint." What it is? Vachalam balisham stabdham agyam panditamaninam Krishna martyam upashritya gopame chakrapriyam. These cowherd men have acted inimically toward me by taking shelter of this ordinary human being Krishna, who thinks himself very wise, but who is simply a foolish, ignorant, over-talkative child. Commentary. Indra said, "Krishna is over-talkative, speaking many audacious arguments in the line of karma mimamsa and Sankhya philosophy, even though he does not accept these arguments. Thus he is balisha, he is foolish. He is stabda, he is disrespectful because he speaks boldly even in the presence of his own father. Because he is ignorant, all he can do is herd cows, but he thinks himself a learned man, Pandit Maninam. Although I am a demigod, they neglect me to honor him, a mere human being, and thus they offend me." Through the insults of Indra, one second, I'm just checking. Oh my God. I'm so bad. Today's Sunday. I completely forgot today's Sunday again, 2 weeks in a row. Anyhow, sorry. Let me just finish this purport. Through the insults of Indra, goddess Saraswati is actually praising Krishna thus. By Krishna's mercy, even a fool becomes expert in speaking according to Vedic authority. Stabdham means that Krishna bows down to no one because there is no one for him to offer homage to. Agyam means that there is nothing more for Krishna to know because he is omniscient. And Pandit Maninam means that Krishna is highly honored by the knowers of the absolute truth. Esham Shriyavaliptanam Krishnenadma Pitatmanam Dhunutta Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Pashunnayata Sankshayam. To the clouds of destruction, King Indra said, oh wait. 1 second, could you just wait 1 minute before I read this translation? Haribol, let's discuss. I'm reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam right now, but let's discuss right as soon as I'm finished. I'm happy to go through Rupa Shiksha now, or we can do tomorrow or any other time. But let's discuss I'll be finished soon. Maybe, yeah, because today's a short reading. All right, Haribol. I'll be there in, I don't know, maybe like less than half an hour. Okay. To the clouds of destruction, King Indra said, the prosperity of these people has made them mad with pride, and their arrogance is backed up by Krishna. Now go and remove their pride and bring their animals to destruction. Bring their animals to destruction. That's so cruel. Commentary. Indra said, due to wealth, these cowherd men are mad with pride, and their minds have become influenced by Krishna. You should remove their pride and kill their cows. My God. The unintentional inner meaning of Indra's words is as follows. The cowherd men are anointed with sandalwood pulp. Oh, this is Saraswati changing his meaning because there's always double meanings of Sanskrit words. So even though Indra's trying to insult the Vrajvasis, and he's actually saying, the cowherd men are anointed with sandalwood pulp. Your cloud should remove the heat in their bodies with cool rain and refresh the cows, making them tremble in delight. When Krishna lifts Govardhana, you should allow him to make a beautiful place to stay. The word kshayam means residence, as well as destruction. Ahang chairavatam nagam aruhyanu vraje vrajam marudkanar mahavegar nandagoshta jighangsaya. I will follow you to Vraj, riding on my elephant Airavat, and taking with me the swift and powerful wind guards to decimate the cowherd village of Nanda Maharaj. Indra spoke to the frightened clouds. I will also come behind you, desiring to destroy the cowherd pastures of Nanda. The real meaning is, I am also coming, desiring to see the cowherd pastures of Nanda. Isn't that the same thing you just read? Oh, it's to see. Okay. Shri Shuka Uvacha Itam Maghavata Gyapta Mega Nirmukta Bandhana Nanda Gokulama Sarai Pridayam Asuro Jasa. Shukadev Goswami said, on Indra's order, the clouds of universal destruction released untimely from their bonds, went to the cowherd pastures of Nanda Maharaj. There, they began to torment the inhabitants by powerfully pouring down torrents of rain upon them. The clouds of universal destruction, my God. They released untimely from their bonds and went to the covered pastures of Nanda Maharaj. They powerfully poured down torrents of rain upon them. Vidyotamanavidyubhi stananta stanayetnubhi tivrar marud ganarnunna vavrishur jalas sharkara. Propelled by the fearsome wind gods, the clouds blazed with lightning bolts and roared with thunder as they hurled down hailstones. Commentary. Indra sent forth the Samvarta clouds, which could cover the entire earth with a single vast ocean. Losing his discrimination because of anger, Indra released those clouds without considering the magnitude of their power. Rumbling with thunder, the clouds moved here and there, being pushed by Avaha and Pravaha winds. The clouds poured down hailstones. Sturnastula Vashadhara Munchatswabreshu Abhikshnasha Jaloghai Plavyamana Bhur Nadrishyata Natonnatam. As the clouds released torrents of rain as thick as massive columns, the earth was submerged in the flood, and high ground could no longer be distinguished from low. Commentary. The clouds poured down torrents of rain in sheets as thick as pillars, which flooded the earth with water. Due to the flooding, one could not distinguish high land from low. Atyasarativatena pashavo jatavepana gopa gopyashashitarta govindam sharanam yayu. The cows and other animals, shivering from the excessive rain and winds, and the cowherd men and ladies, pained by the cold, all approached Lord Govinda for shelter. Shirai sutangscha prachadyasarapidita vepamana bhagavata padamulam upayayu. Trembling from the distress brought about by the severe rainfall and trying to cover their heads and calves with their own bodies, the cows approached the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh, that's so sweet. They were trying to cover their calves with their own bodies. Commentary. The cows covered the heads of their cows. The cows covered the heads of their calves with their own bodies. Krishna Krishna Mahabhaga Tvanatam Gokulam Prabho Tratumarhasi Devana Kupitar Bhakta Vatsala. The cowherd men and women addressed the Lord. Krishna, Krishna, O most fortunate one, please deliver the cows from the wrath of Indra. O Lord, you are so affectionate to your devotees. Please save us also. Isn't that so nice how all the Vrajvasis, they prayed for the cows first and then they prayed for themselves. But they're mostly concerned about the cows even more than their own selves. Commentary. Remembering the prediction of Garga Muni, Anena Sarva Durgani Yuyam Anjas Tarishyata, by his grace you will easily cross beyond all difficulties. That was in chapter 8, verse 16. The Vrajvasis were confident that in such a time of danger, Lord Narayan would empower Krishna to protect them. With this conviction, they pray in this verse. The word Devan refers to Indra. Śrīla varshati vatena hanyamana machetanam niriksha bhagavan mene kupitendra kritam hari. Seeing the inhabitants of his Gokul rendered practically unconscious by the onslaught of hail and blasting wind, the Supreme Lord Hari understood that this was the work of angry Indra. Commentary. Even before being informed that the rain was created by Indra, Krishna understood that Indra was responsible. The severe distress Indra apparently inflicted upon the residents of Vrindavan was an arrangement made by Sri Krishna's pastime potency, Krishna's Leela Shakti, so that Krishna could taste the sweetness of their prem to his full satisfaction. For a hungry person, the pain of hunger increases the happiness he feels when he finally eats excellent food, and thus hunger can be said to enhance the pleasure of eating. Let me just check the comments. I haven't checked it for a while now. Haribo Bhavatarani Mataji and Prajumna Prabhu Mantramurti Mataji and Sudevi Didi. Dandavat pranams. Apartvatyulvanam varsham ativatam shilamayam swayage vihate smabhir indra nashaya varshati. Shri Krishna said to himself, because we have stopped his sacrifice, Indra has caused this unusually fierce, unreasonable rain, together with terrible winds and hail. Commentary. Understanding that it was Indra's work, Krishna spoke to the Vrajvasis in 5 verses. The fierce rain full of hailstones was unseasonable, belonging to a season already past. Tatra pratividing samya gatma yogena sadhaye lokesha manina mudhyad dhanishye shrimadam tamam. By my mystic power, I will completely counteract this disturbance caused by Indra. Demigods like Indra are proud of their opulence, and out of foolishness, they falsely consider themselves the Lord of the universe. I will now destroy such ignorance. Commentary. Krishna said, I will remedy the situation through my mystic potency. Being falsely proud of their power due to the mode of ignorance, these demigods think of themselves as lords. I will now destroy this ignorance. This verse refers not only to Indra, but also to Vayu and the other demigods who assisted him. Nahi sarvava yuktanam suranamisha vismaya matto satang manabangha prashamayopakalpate. Since the demigods are endowed with the mode of goodness, the false pride of considering oneself the Lord should certainly not affect them. When I break the false prestige of those bereft of goodness, my purpose is to bring them relief. Commentary. I am not going to completely crush this weak Indra out of spite. I'm not going to completely crush this weak Indra out of spite, but I will correct this fault of his false pride which has arisen in my devotee. With this intention, Krishna speaks this verse. Tasman mat charanam goshtam mannatam mat parigraham gopaye swatma yogena soyang me vrata ahita. I must therefore protect the cowherd community by my transcendental potency, for I am their shelter, I am their master, and indeed, they are my own family. After all, I have taken a vow to protect my devotees. Commentary. Krishna said, I will protect the cowherd community from this disturbance created by Indra because Vraj is my home. Mat Charanam means Mat Sharanam, of course. And I am the master. I am the Nath of the house. The Anekartha Varga dictionary, in that dictionary, the Anekartha Varga dictionary, Sharanam Griha Rakshita means, it says, the word Sharanam can also mean either home or protector. Krishna said, Vraj is the place where my father, brother, and dear ones, Vraj is the place where all my dear ones live. Not only will I protect these people from this disturbance, I will protect all people, even at the time of Mahapralaya, the annihilation of the universe. To indicate this, Krishna says, I have taken this vow. Me vrata ahita. Ityuktvaikena hastena kritva govardhanachalam tadhara lilaya vishnush Chatrakam iva balaka. We come to it. This is the climax. Having said this, Lord Krishna, who is Vishnu himself, picked up Govardhan hill with one hand and held it aloft just as easily as a child holds up a mushroom. Jai Shri Govardhan Dhari Shri Krishna Chandra ki Jai Shri Govardhan Dharan ki Jai. Commentary. Hari Vangsha confirms that Sri Krishna picked up Govardhan hill with his left hand. Sadrita Sangato Meghar Giri Savyena Panina. With his left hand, Krishna picked up that mountain which was touching the clouds. With the umbrella of Giriraj, Krishna blocked the Samvartaka clouds and created a living space in the form of a house beneath the mountain. Krishna held the mountain without any difficulty, just like a child holding a mushroom. When Krishna was preparing to lift Govardhan hill, a partial expansion of his Yogamaya potency, named Samhariki, temporarily removed all the rain from the sky, so that as Krishna ran very swiftly from the porch of his house to the mountain, neither his turban nor garments became wet. Just the other day, Shrivas read to me some beautiful things that he found in, I think it's Srila Rupa Goswami's Stavamala. And we couldn't find it translated in English anywhere, but he translated it for me about this Krishna lifting up Govardhan Lila and how Srimati Radhika, she immediately approaches Yashoda and is like, are there no men here to help Krishna? And and then Yashoda, she goes to Nanda Maharaj and it's a very unique, beautiful, yeah. Anyways, I'll tell you more after. But maybe Shiva, anyways. Ataha Bhagavan Gopan Himba Tata Vrajokasa Yato Bajosham Vishata Giri Kartam Sagodhana. The Lord then addressed the cowherd community. O mother, O father, O residents of Vraj, if you wish, you may now come under this hill with your cows. Commentary. Now you can all comfortably take shelter under Govardhan hill. The Vrajvasis replied, but how can our cowherd community, which includes many thousands of cows, calves, bulls, and so on, fit under Govardhan, which is only 3 miles across? Here is the answer. Because Govardhan hill was in ecstasy, being touched by Krishna's hand, it inquired inconceivable power, and even felt the hundreds of deadly thunderbolts thrown on its back by angry Indra to be offerings of soft, fragrant flowers. At times, Sri Govardhan was not even aware that the thunderbolts were striking. Govardhan expanded his form to 32 miles, so that all the inhabitants, cows, buffaloes, and other animals could live comfortably beneath his shelter. In Harivangsha, Sri Krishna himself says, Trailokyam apyutsahate rakshitum kim punar vrajam. Sri Govardhan can give shelter to all the 3 worlds. What to speak of the simple land of Vraj? According to Harivangsha, when Krishna lifted Govardhan, the mountain extended beyond the clouds. The deer, wild hogs, and other animals and birds standing on the hill's flanks climbed up to Govardhan's peaks, which were now higher than the clouds. And thus, even they did not experience the slightest distress, because they're above the clouds even. Natrasa ihava karyo madhastradri nipatanat vatavarsha bhayenalam tatranam vihitam hiva. You should have no fear that this mountain will fall from my hands, and don't be afraid of the wind and rain, for your deliverance from these afflictions has already been arranged. And in this thing that Srivas showed me by Srila Rupa Goswami, because Srimati Radhika and Yashoda Devi, they were so distressed, he because first he was just holding up with his whole hand, but then he put Govardhana on his pinky just to pacify them, like, see, it's nothing for me. Tata nirvivishur gartam Krishna shvasitamanasa yatavakasham sadhana savraja sopajivina. Their minds thus pacified by Lord Krishna, they all entered beneath the hill, where they found ample room for themselves and all their cows, wagons, servants, and priests, and for all other members of the community as well. Commentary. They all went beneath the mountain with their carts and their dependents, such as their servants and priests. Kshutridvyatang sukapeksham hitvatar vrajavasibhi Vikshamano dadaradrim saptaham nachalat padat. Lord Krishna, forgetting hunger and thirst and putting aside all considerations of personal pleasure, stood there holding up the hill for 7 days as the people of Raj gazed upon him. Commentary. The Vrajvasis forgot about hunger and thirst for 7 days because they were immersed in the ecstatic bliss of seeing Krishna continuously. This is explained in the Vishnu Purana. Vrajaika Vasibir Harsha Vismitakshar Nirikshita Gopa Gopi Janar Hershtai Pritta Visparitek Shanai Sangstuya Mana Charita Krishna Shailam Adharayat. Shri Krishna held up the mountain while his praises were chanted by the Vrajvasis, all of whom now had the opportunity to dwell together with him, and who glanced at him with joyful and amazed eyes. Thus the cowherd men and women were all elated, and out of loving affection, they opened their eyes wide. It should be understood that Krishna stood directly facing everyone. By continuously drinking the nectar of the beauty and sweetness of Krishna, the Vrajvasis felt no hunger, thirst, or fatigue. And Sri Krishna, by seeing the beautiful forms of his beloved gopis, also forgot about eating, drinking, and sleeping. The 7 days of continuous rain from the Samvartaka clouds failed to flood the district of Mathura because the Supreme Lord, simply by his Icha Shakti, his supreme willpower, immediately dried up the water as it fell to the ground. For the Vrajvasis, the 7 days passed as if it were one ghatika. 1 ghatika equals 24 minutes. Krishna yoganubhavang tam nishamyendroti vismita nistambho brashta sankalpa swanmeghan sanyavarayat. It sounds like the Krishna's Samhariki potency could have taken care of the whole problem. Yeah. I love that, how Krishna just has different potencies to take care of different problems and disturbances. Hari Bol Yashoda Didi. When Indra observed this exhibition of Lord Krishna's mystic power, he became most astonished. Pulled down from his platform of false pride and his intentions thwarted, he ordered his clouds to desist. Commentary. His pride deflated, Indra withdrew the clouds out of fear that Krishna would punish him. Kangvyabhram uditadityam vatavarsham chadarunam nishamyo paratam gopan govardhana dharo bravit. Seeing that the fierce wind and rain had now ceased, the sky had become clear of rain clouds, and the sun had risen. Lord Krishna, the lifter of Govardhana hill, Seeing that the sky had become clear of rain clouds and that the sun had risen, Lord Krishna, the lifter of Govardhana hill, spoke to the cowherd community as follows. Niryata tyajata trasam gopa sastri dhanarbhaka uparatam vata varsham vyuda prayascha nimnaga. Lord Krishna said, "My dear cowherd men, please go out with your wives, children, and possessions. Give up your fear. The wind and rain have stopped, and the river's high waters have subsided. Commentary. Vyuda Prayas means the rivers were practically devoid of water. Tataste niryayurgopa swam swam adaya godhanam shakatordhopakaranam stribalasthavirashanai. After collecting their respective cows and loading their paraphernalia into wagons, the cowherd men went out. The women, children, and elderly persons gradually followed them. Commentary. After loading their goods on the carts, the cowherd men emerged from under the mountain. Bhagavan apitang shailam swastane purvavat prabhu pashyatam sarvabhutanam stapayam asalilaya. While all living creatures looked on, the Supreme Personality of Godhead put down the hill in its original place, just as it had stood before. Tam prema vegam nirbhrita vrajokaso sorry. Tam prema vegam nirbhrita vrajokaso yata samiyo parirambhanadibhi kopyascha sneham upujayam muda dadyakshataddhir yuyuju sarashisha. All the residents of Vrindavan were overwhelmed with ecstatic love, and they came forward and greeted Sri Krishna according to their individual relationships with him, some embracing him, others bowing down to him, and so forth. The cowherd women presented water mixed with yogurt and unbroken barley corns as a token of honor, and they showered auspicious benedictions upon him. Commentary. Overwhelmed in love, each of the Vrajvasis approached Krishna according to his position, as an inferior younger member of the community, as an equal, or as a superior, and they dealt with him accordingly. Krishna's superiors offered auspicious benedictions, lovingly smelled his head, kissed him, massaged his left arm, which held up the mountain, cracked the fingers on his left hand, and inquired with parental affection as to whether he was tired or pained. Krishna's equals laughed or joked with him, and those who were younger fell at his feet, massaged his feet, and so on. The word cha in this verse indicates that the wives of the Brahmins joined with the cowherd ladies to offer auspicious items like yogurt and unbroken grains. They gave blessings to Krishna by saying, "May you subdue the wicked, protect the decent people, give pleasure to your parents, and be enriched with all wealth and opulence." Yashoda Rohini Nando Ramascha Balinam Para Krishna Malingya Yuyujur Ashisha Sneha Katara. Mother Yashoda, Mother Rohini, Nanda Maharaj, and Balaram, the greatest of the strong, all embraced Krishna. Overwhelmed with affection, they offered him their blessings. Commentary. The very special position of Krishna's own mother and other intimate relatives, however, is stated in this verse beginning with Yashoda. It is not unsuitable to include Balaram in the group that feels parental affection, Vatsalya Bhav, toward Krishna, because Balaram acts in that capacity as Krishna's elder brother. One may object, saying, "Oh, maybe I should share this in our Dauji group, Dauji fan club. What is it?" One may object, saying, "Come on, move." One may object, saying, "Since Balaram is so affectionate, why didn't he assume his plenary expansion as Ananta Shesh, since he is already holding up the earth and himself enacts the great feat of holding up Govardhana hill on behalf of his younger brother?" The answer is that once Krishna made his decision to stop Indra's sacrifice, to worship Govardhan, and to lift Govardhan hill in order to protect the Vrajvasis, it would be improper and impossible for his Anksha, his plenary portion Balaram, to do anything else. Thus, Balaram did not show his powers. As Krishna is Shaktiman, the possessor of innumerable potencies, by his desire alone, suitable powers will appear when necessary in his Anksha. By succeeding verses also, this conclusion is mentioned. In this regard, sometimes ancient paintings show Krishna as Giridhari being given butter by his two mothers, Yashoda and Rohini, while Nanda Maharaj and Balaram hold up Govardhan hill with their heads or sticks. In the Viśvanātha, Śrīla Sanatana Goswami says that this occurred due to being overwhelmed by love. Oh wow, somebody has to do that. Make a picture of Krishna lifting up Govardhan hill with Yashoda and Rohini feeding him butter. See, sometimes ancient paintings, this is during Srila Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura's time, he said that there are ancient paintings that show Krishna being fed butter by his two mothers while lifting up Govardhan hill. And Nanda Maharaj and Balaram are holding with their heads or sticks. In the Vaishnava Toshini, Srila Sanatana Goswami says that this occurred due to being overwhelmed by love. Thus, in this verse, they are described as being besides themselves out of their affection for Krishna. Devi Deva Gana Siddha Sadhya Gandharva Charana Tushtuvor Mumuchus Tushta Pushpa Varshani Parthiva. In the heavens, O king, all the demigods, including the Siddhas, Sadhyas, Gandharvas, and Charanas, sang the praises of Lord Krishna and showered down flowers in great satisfaction. Commentary. The demigods in heaven were just as jubilant as the Vrajvasis, and thus a great universal festival took place. Shanka Dundu Bhayone Dur, Devi Deva Prachodita, Jagur Gandharva Pataya Stumburu Pramukha Nripa. My dear Parikshit, the demigods in heaven resoundingly played their conch shells and kettle drums, and the best of the Gandharvas, led by Tumburu, began to sing. Tato nuraktai pashupai parishrito rajan swagoshtam sabalo vrajadhari tata vidanyasya kritani gopika gayanta iyur mudita hridi sprisha. Surrounded by his loving cowherd boyfriends and Lord Balaram, Krishna then went off to the place where he had been tending his cows. The cowherd girls returned to their homes, singing joyfully about the lifting of Govardhan hill and other glorious deeds performed by Lord Krishna, who had so deeply touched their hearts. Commentary. While Krishna was lifting Govardhan hill, Radha and other beloved gopis, unnoticed by others, were intimately associating with him by exchanging secret glances from a distance. While returning to their homes, the gopis lovingly sang about Krishna's pastimes. It should be understood that the gopis had the ability to immediately compose songs about Krishna's pastimes. Gopika Hridi Sprisha. This can mean that the gopis who touched Krishna in their prema-filled hearts are who always meditated on Krishna. Or it can mean some very dear gopis whom Krishna embraced to his chest or in his mind. This phrase describes a quality of Krishna. Thus ends the commentary on the 25th chapter of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam for the pleasure of the devotees in accordance with the previous acharyas. Wow, what a delightful pastime. I'm maybe tomorrow morning I'll ask Shivas if he could come here and share with us what he found on in Stavamala, because it's like this whole Govardhan Lila, but from Srimati Radhika's perspective, and then from the perspective of Mother Yashoda. But like a big, huge chunk of it, it's all this pastime from Srimati Radhika's perspective. It's really neat. So I will ask him today, and then maybe tomorrow he can join and he can read this. Yeah, read that to us. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Cool. I'm gonna say that all of you guys are really enthusiastic to hear this pastime. Also, that might motivate him also. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Shatar Shata Shishmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Shatar Shata Shishmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Shila Haridas Ṭhākur ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वतर अश्वत शिशुमार शिला गौर गोविंद गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। तदीय शुभ आविर्भाव तिथि की जय। जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। शिला विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। श्री सारार्थ-दार्शिनी वृत्ति की जय। श्री गोवर्धन धारण लीला की जय। श्री गिरिधारी गोपाल की जय। श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। श्री दाऊ भाया की जय। श्री नंद बाबा यशोदा माया की जय। श्री विश्वभानु नंदिनी श्रीमती राधा ठाकुरानी की जय। राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गण की जय। सर्व ब्रजवासी गण की जय। श्री धेनुगण की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री हरि नाम श्री सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाता गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाय कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Dandavat pranams, everybody. And then, yes, today is Srila Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj's appearance day. So maybe later on today, probably this evening, I will read something about him. And maybe for those of you in America, it will be the morning of his appearance day, right? So it might even be better if I read in the evening time for him. And then for those here who've been in our Rupa Shiksha program, I had it written. Anyways, I'm gonna send a message in our group, on our WhatsApp group. So, but yeah, we can figure out something. All right, Dandavat pranams, everybody. See you all. Oh, there it is today. That's too bad then. I wish I could read something. Anyhow, what to do? Actually, whatever. Can I just, I mean, I've read it before. I'll just read one little, like 2 little paragraphs. Just, it's so beautiful. I really love this point that he makes, just in his honor. I'll take a, it's short. Where is it? I think it's in quotes. Here. Okay. Sadhu, Guru, Mahajan are Patit Pavan. They are not Kapati Pavan. He says, this is Srila Gaura Govinda Goswami Maharaj spoke this on 28th October 1991. And this is from an article called Simplicity in Faith. So you can search that on Google if you want to find the full article. He said, everything takes place according to the will of Krishna. If he doesn't will, a blade of grass will not shake. Oh wait, let me share my screen so you can read it also. So everything takes place according to the will of Krishna. If he doesn't will, a blade of grass will not shake. So it is a question of faith. But why do we lack faith? Dhruva immediately put strong faith. He was not afraid of any situation. Where is that Narayan? Where is Narayan? The example is also there in the story about the young boy and Gopal. But we can't put faith. What is the reason? Why are these small children able to have faith, but adults cannot? It is because you are crooked and they are simple. A child is very simple, but as soon as he grows up and associates with adults, those who are very crooked, he develops crookedness. Otherwise, in the beginning, a child is very simple. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. All our acharyas have said this. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami stresses on this. Saralata hi Vaishnavata. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. Real Vaishnavas are as simple as a child. There is no question of crookedness, duplicity, or pretentiousness in them. But our heart is full of these things. We are not at all simple-hearted persons. We are very crooked. Duplicity, crookedness, and pretentiousness are in you. But Krishna is in your heart. He knows what is in you. You cannot cheat him. Therefore, we say that Sadhu, Guru, Mahajan are Patit Pavan, not Kapati Pavan. They are saviors of the fallen, not saviors of the crooked. I really like this point also. Krishna is in your heart. So we can't cheat him. So we're trying to be crooked and try to show that we're something that we're not. But no. And also our fallen condition is our qualification for mercy. Because Sadhu, Guru, and Vaishnava are Patit Pavan, that means that we're candidates for their mercy. They're deliverers of the fallen. They aren't deliverers of the elevated. So we just have to accept our position and not be crooked, just be honest. And then we have everything. We have Krishna's mercy. Yeah, maybe Raghunandan. Yeah, that's probably who he is referring to. Oh, that Leela is so sweet, that Raghunandan pastime. All right, I'll share this in the comments if you want to have the words to this. There, it will go on Facebook. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining. Jai Shri Radhe.